Hello, and thank you for joining the Think Her Now podcast, where I support and encourage women to think themselves. Today, I will be having a wonderful conversation with Erika Barnes. Stay tuned and look forward to an inspiring conversation. Thank you. Hello. Hey, Erica.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just so grateful that you said yes to my invitation to be on my podcast.
Of course I would.
Listen, I've been watching you and I admire you and I support you.
Thank you.
And I wanted to have this conversation with you and share you with the world.
Here, period.
Period. So, are you ready to jump into this conversation?
Sure am.
Okay, so the first question that I have for you is who is Erika Barnes?
Well, to those, most people still call me E Woods because that was my name before I got married. But I'm Erika Barnes. I call myself the serial entrepreneur. Others call me woman owning everything, which is what my first initial business started off as. And that simply just sums up me being a serial entrepreneur that does anything and everything that my brain decides to do.
Okay, I'm not mad at you. Serial entrepreneur. You're also a mother, a wife, a friend, and you are an amazing woman.
Oh, thank you.
You are most welcome. You're most welcome. So, how did you get here today? Like your journey, where you are today. How did you get here?
Well, as let me put it like this, as I've learned as I've gotten to this age and I talk back to people from when I was a child, they're like, you've said this since you were a kid that you would be this person. And I'm like, I did. Like, I had my 20th class reunion this past last year, and they were like, did you ever look back at your goals for, like, when you write in your yearbook? And one of the girls was like, everything that you said in your yearbook in 2000 is what you're doing right now. And I never even saw it. So it was like, oh, so honestly, it's been written since the beginning of time. And it's just like I've just walked and trusted in God. And that's how I've ended up here. Like I've just said what I wanted to do. And I've come to the point where I realized that what you say, what you work for, you will do and you will become. And that's how I became who I am.
That's great. So, did you go back to that yearbook?
I can't find it. I told her to send it to me. I'm still waiting, but I'm gonna look for it.
But she remembered.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing. And she's been watching you. So, you are the type of person when you put your mind to it, you're going to do it.
Right. Because if you don't, then you're waiting on someone else to give you something that you could just go get yourself.
So, throughout your journey, I know you've gone through some challenges. I know. And one particular one, I know. So, before I say that one, because I want to share, I want to talk about that one. But what is a challenge? And you may say the one that I want to say, but what is a challenge that you have that you had to overcome?
I mean, I've had a lot. Most people don't know because I'm not as public as I am. People think that I am. I'm very private. Like, you get what I literally give. So, one of the biggest challenges was being an entrepreneur and going into commercial. And being in that taught me a whole lot about the business industry. Like you literally learn, you don't learn how to be successful until you've hit many roads, like bumps in the road, and you overcome them. So that particular one is I was a venue owner, and I was only a venue owner for like a year, a little over a year. And from the very first day that I opened my venue, to the day I closed it, I had issues.
Well, I remember going to your ribbon cutting, and it was a beautiful venue. And that is the one I was going to talk about, that challenge, because you gone through it. So, how did you how did you overcome that? Yes, I know you no longer have that particular venue, but along the way, there was many barriers that you had to face and you had to overcome, right? You could have pulled your hair out, all the things that
Did.
you've gone through. So let's dig just a little deeper. And I know you wrote a book.
Because one thing, I had to fight. I literally fought from the first day to the last day up until my court hearing. Like, you can't give up because you invest so much money. Like, we invested a large chunk of money just to open the space, let alone do the renovations and getting the space because it was a venue. So you had to get chairs, you have to get the stuff to be able to for people to rent it, and then for you to be closed within a week of a grand opening with the no knowledge of why was like, but you push on. You have to have money. You have to have
Absolutely.
money saved. Don't let I don't know who this message is for, but don't let social media tell you that you don't need money.
You need
You
money.
need money, and you got to fight. You can't just give in because that's the easiest part is giving up. It's easy to give up. It's harder to fight. So most people don't go to the next level because they're not willing to fight for it. And so once you get that, I'm very controversial. So it's like a game to me too. So when I get hit with controversy, it's more like if I can win this, I leveled up. And so I think of my life as Mario Brothers, like literally, because as we played it as a kid, and you realize that if you ate a mushroom, you got bigger, you got stronger. So the more challenges I get hit with, it's like if I can combat this and I can win it, it's a mushroom I just ate. Now I could go to the next level. So that's why I was able to write a book even after losing the venue because it was like I might have lost the space, but I didn't lose the information to give to somebody else to teach them how to overcome their lessons and not go into contracts with.
You know, I love that about you. You went through a challenge, but then you turned that challenge into empowerment. And you wrote that ebook and you shared that ebook so that people, the next person who wants to open up a venue, look for these pitfalls, look for these signs,
Right.
right? So I love that. It's not that they won't have issues, right? But they can watch and see those issues that you went through to avoid those issues
Right.
and then face whatever else issue that they may have. But at least you have this book, you're given this knowledge to let people know, hey, watch out for these. And that's amazing. And I love your analogy with the Mario Brothers. Yes, you eat that mushroom,
You get power.
you get power. You
You
eat that
go, but
mushroom.
you see how when no matter how hard the level gets, if you stay on the task and you keep trying to do it, you'll eventually pass it. So when I started to look at life and like this is a game, I gotta win. I gotta get to the next level. And every time you win and marry, and it's a time frame too. You remember when the buzzer is running out. So it's like if you look at your life, because as an entrepreneur, we don't have time limits. We don't have managers. We don't have anyone. You are the manager. You're the boss. So you have to find out what works, what doesn't work. And when you do find it out, you you work towards it to make it better. So it's like I said, it's a game, and I just okay, what's next?
Awesome. So, what was a pivotal moment in your life when you knew your purpose?
So I'm a social worker outside of all of the stuff that I do. And that pivotal moment happened for me was around 2012, 13-ish is when I went back to school for my MSW. And it was because I learned like I'm the person everybody calls when they have a problem, when they want to know something. And I'm like, if this is what people come to me for, why not find a way to do this and get paid for it? Because essentially I was doing it for free. So when I went back to school, I learned the tools, the skills, the knowledge, and then I started working towards it. So now I get to still do my passion, which is help people, but I get paid for it as well. And not just doing it for free. I've done it for free, but now I've acquired the knowledge and the skills and the degrees that I could also get paid for it too. So I turned something that was minor because, I'm always a phone call away from most people. But then it's like, well, if I could do it for y'all, I could do it for others too and still benefit and be beneficial at the same time.
Mm, great. So the challenge that I was talking about, you said it. So I just want to know that we're like this. Because I was going to talk about that challenge, but you already spoke about it. So we're good on that. If you can define your legacy in one sentence, what would it be?
To live your life. Because what I've learned also on this journey, most people aren't living. Everybody is just here, they're existing. When you ask people, like, what are you happy about? Most people can't even tell you much about themselves, let alone anything else. So it's like, are you even living? Are you enjoying life? Like, what outside of this, who are you? Most people can't answer that. Most people just are, I'm my kids, I'm this, I'm that. But what about you? And so I teach my kids that if you're not living, then you're just existing. And if you're just existing, then purpose are you serving? Because then if you become non-existent, then what? So then life ends. So your legacy is living. Like as long as you're living, you're breathing, you're doing something to better your life, that's a legacy. You're leaving behind something.
Nice. So, how does Erica empower herself?
Learning something new.
All right, now, what is the latest skill that you've learned?
How to I became a drug and alcohol drug collector, and now also just became certified to do breathalyzer.
Nice. I seen you climbing high, right? And also, because with your new role, you have, acquired certain contracts, which is amazing. So, with this new skill that you have acquired, obtained, learned, right, became certified, and you quickly said, "Hey, I want to go out there and get some contracts."
Well, actually, the contracts found me.
Okay, all
That
right
was the
now.
difference. So I closed the venue February 1st of 2024. Before I think closed the venue, I was taking a class. Like I saw it on social media. That's why I like social media, because your algorithm speaks for you. So evidently it speaks money to me. And so this
Wait a
popped
minute, wait a
up.
minute. You said, wait a minute. You
Oh,
said
it
it
speaks
speaks
money for
money
me.
to
It
me.
does.
Say that again.
It speaks money for me. Listen. And so my algorithm always shows me other ways to make money. And it popped up like, would you like to learn about drug and alcohol testing? And I'm like, I mean, it was like 300 or something dollars. I'm like, I can spare that. And so I learned it, and then I didn't do anything with it because it was like, hmm, you kind of jump on the fence of fear and faith. Like, should I do it or should I not? Then I decided to go back and take another course so that I not only can do it, I can train other people to do it, which is another stream of income. So I did that, and I still didn't do anything with it. Like I registered the business and I kind of just sat on it. I went on vacation, I believe, and vacation time is always my thinking time. It gives me a regroup. And I came back and I was like, let me put it on Google. Like, I asked somebody, like, let me use your business address just so I can say I have it. And the next day I got a contract in India.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
people reached out in India, and I was like, at first I was a little scared because this now we doing cross country stuff, but it actually pulled through as a great contract. Like if I chose to teach other people in other states, I can and help them get contracts throughout the United States. So that was one. And then like a week later, I got another call from like a third party administration in New York and was like, we have a contract in New Jersey that's coming, but we don't have anybody to fulfill it. And I'm like, well, you have LabCorp, you have all of these places, but a lot of companies now want people to come to their site. And unfortunately, LabCorp, doesn't do it, or certain those other ones. So months went on, I thought it was like, oh, well, maybe not. And then he called back like, well, it's a go. What's your fees? How would you like to set it up? And then it was like, well, what made you decide to open up a drug, become a drug collector in Jersey? And I was like, well, I saw it on social media. And then it was like, because there's not many people that do this outside of a lab, personally. So it's a demand for it in Jersey. And then I signed another contract with another company that was doing the same thing. So it was just like, oh, this is really this is where the money resides this year, I guess, huh?
Wow, that's nice. So, thinking about your younger self,
Hmm.
what advice would you tell your younger self?
And do what makes you happy. Because most kids, if you think about it, so when I was a kid, I was able to do a lot of things. Like anything kind of what I asked to do, my parents did it for us. Like that was just nothing. So I learned sign language at a young age. And only reason why I can reflect on some of this stuff now is because people talk about it. Like you used to come to church and teach people about sign, like dance, like the dance ministry. You was like 7 years old, and I was like, I was. And so now it's like you start to think back on your life, and it's like, oh, I really was learning skills throughout as a child up until now. So it's like I just always, and it was enjoyable. And so, as I would tell my younger self, is just to enjoy life. Everything that I chose that was enjoyable, and don't do things you don't want to do.
Nice.
Because when you do things that you don't want to do, you regret it, or you get put in situations possibly that have consequences. But do what you like to do.
Okay. So, how does Erica celebrate herself?
I go on vacation. I go on vacation. I'm home. I'm a homebody. As much as people think I like to be outside, I don't. And I like just investing in different things. Like if I can learn something new, how to do something, I'm going to do it. And that's how I encouraging myself is learning something new and booking a vacation at least every 4 months.
Hey, so every 4 months, I'm not mad at you.
Yeah, every quarter I feel like you should. Well, every 3 months. So every 3 months, not every four, but every 3 months, I feel like you should be able to.
And these vacations they can be international or
I
domestic.
prefer an international.
Okay. Hey, that's not a problem. Well, I'm happy that you do take time to celebrate yourself.
Hmm.
And do you have a gratitude practice?
Well, I try to journal at least. So for the month of January, I tried every day. For the month of February, I was more on the schooling side of it.
Hmm.
So it was like I kind of didn't journal every day, but I feel like taking that moment and just thanking God for the day or what you've learned or what you've went through. Because even the bad, what we consider bad, going through it and getting through it is the good part about it. So you live to tell the story. So I'm grateful for the bad experiences, the good experiences, because I've learned also that you don't grow from only good things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I also do a gratitude practice. At least 3 to 5 things a day I write down of what I'm grateful for.
Right.
And my 2025 word is grateful. That's so.
Mine was
Oh,
intentional.
okay. So your word is intentional and my word is grateful. I love it. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
Have you ever thanked yourself? Now I know, you thank your Amazon person, the waiter, your children, your husband, right? Your mail person, but have you ever thanked yourself?
I thank myself in different ways. Like saying it, I'm also because I feel like I am who I am because of God. So as long as I'm thanking Him, I'm being thankful to myself for because I'm trusting in Him enough to believe and know that What I ask for, what I pray for, what I think about, it all comes from somewhere else. It just doesn't come from me. But actually saying thank you, like looking in the mirror, I do it sometimes because I do have a friend who does like a challenge on social media, and she's like, "Did you tell yourself you love yourself today?" Like things like that. So sometimes you do need reminders because it is good to boost your own self. Because if you look for it through someone else or other people, you won't go anywhere because you're looking for attention from people that probably can't even give themselves attention. So I try to remind myself, and I should probably put it in my schedule as a daily thing to say thank you. But no, I don't do it every day.
All right, well, you're going to do it today.
I will.
Yes, so I have my phone, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on selfie mode for you,
Okay.
video, and you're going to actually thank yourself. You're going
Okay.
to say, "Hey, Erica," or however you greet yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to say, "Thank you for whatever." It can be something that you've done in the past,
Mm-hmm.
something that you're currently doing, or something that you want to do. So you're gonna actually thank yourself.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So here we go, and you see that record
Record button.
button.
Okay. So I just want to say, Erica, thank you for being you. Thank you for being wise. And thank you for being a leader. That's
Oh,
it.
okay. So did you actually hit the record button?
I did.
Okay, okay. So I mean, you did it, right? You
Hmm.
did it. How did it just make you feel?
For me, everything that I do makes me feel good. So it's whether I say thank you to myself or whether I do what I'm supposed to do, I feel like I'm doing a thank you to myself because I can lay around and do absolutely nothing and then feel like I didn't do anything. But and still not say thank you just for waking up. Thank you for just being productive. But when I am productive, which I try to be every day, so that's like my thank you because it's like, get up, girl. Like you got more to do. You got more work to do. It's either you're gonna lay around or you can't lay around and play around and then expect to reap the benefits. So it's like, get up, do what you gotta do.
Yeah, you have to fight yourself sometime.
Yeah.
I know sometimes I'll be arguing with myself, like, girl, you know you need to get up. I'm like, oh no, you can sleep extra 5 minutes. Get up. So sometimes I fight myself, and it's okay, right? You have to
Right.
have that little battle, and for the most part, the good side wins. But
Listen.
sometimes the other side
I mean, but you also
jumps
have
in
to
there.
know when you need a break
Hmm.
though. So understanding that is also a thank you to yourself. Is understanding that your body is tired or your brain is tired and a reward of that is not doing anything. And sometimes we take not doing anything as a personal like, oh, I wasn't productive. But then you think about, I washed the dishes this morning. I put 3 loads of clothes in, folded them. I did this. I went to work. I came home. I did do a lot today. I made up the bed. Like simple
Exactly.
things like that. And so I learned to appreciate everything that I do throughout the day that understands to lighten my load because a lot of us also take on extra loads without lessening the load or realizing I don't have to do all of this today. And as long as it's due by this day, now I give myself days, got to be done by Friday. Like, it's a deadline. It's in entrepreneurship, you have to create your own planning schedule, your deadlines. And if you don't, you will become overwhelmed. And then you won't be able to thank yourself because you're sick.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, is there a word, a book, a song that helps you throughout your day?
Well, I sit in quiet a lot. Like I'm normally typically home, and if I'm doing, I will have the TV off. I won't have anything on, and it's simply because sometimes I feel like we're easily distracted by what's going on around us. So sometimes sitting in just peace will help you get through what you need to get through. And even when you do have questions that you need to ask, or even if you need a distraction, you can. But if you have the TV on and you're supposed to be reading a book, you're not listening to what the book says because you're listening to what the TV is saying. So I try to disconnect from the world at certain points because if you don't, you're distracted. So
You're right. Like at times I shut my phone. Like I don't answer calls after a certain time. I don't. I just have to wait for the next day, right? Because that's my time. That's a boundary that I have.
right.
I won't answer the phone, and it'll be okay. I'll just talk to them tomorrow. This is for me, right? This is for
Call
me.
911 if it's an emergency. So, what I'm supposed to do? Get it? Because if I'm in the bed and you call me, like people used to be annoyed I had my phone on do not disturb, and I'm like, I do not want to be disturbed before these hours. And if you really need me, you'll call twice. If you don't really need me, I'll text you back and ask because I probably won't answer the phone anyway. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like one of those things where I'm comfortable with that and I'm not upset at myself for not being able to be for everyone else when they always need. And once I learned that, people are like, you like to be in quiet. Yeah, I can sit in my thoughts because I want to deal with whatever bad things I'm thinking about or things that most people don't want to sit in the uncomfortable space. If you can be quiet, listen, I learned during COVID that a lot of people hated the silence. And I learned to love it. I'm not going outside if I don't have to. I don't have to be around people no more. Like, it's just like because I'm with people majority of the day. And sometimes you need a break.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it goes right into this next question I have to ask you. What is one self-care regimen that you have for yourself?
Book a vacation.
Love it. Book a vacation. I love it.
Listen, I tell people I've never experienced, and I didn't start going on vacations literally probably until maybe 2017, 18, because I had kids. So having kids, it was like, I don't want to leave my kids just with anyone. I don't want, and it was like a selfish kind of thing. But once I got out of that, they're growing up. I did the nurturing phase that, that they can handle things and be at home with their grandparents because they love them that much. I accepted it. And then you go to other places and then you see, like, I appreciate what I do have. I appreciate the freedoms of what I do have. And I enjoy coming here on my time off. But I love going back home because I couldn't live like this. This is a time for me to reset. This is a time for me to get away from reality to gear me to go back into reality. So that's how I don't ever look at a vacation to say I'm done with like no. When I go home, I'm recharged, and that's how self-care.
That's good. Do you have a motto or a mantra?
I just wake up and say what I got to do for the day.
Okay, okay. So this time I want you to share anything with the audience who's watching and or listening. So I want you to look directly into that camera over
Hey
there
y'all.
and go ahead and share.
I want to tell the people out here that life is going life. Problems are gonna come, but God is still bigger than everything. And as long as you have faith, as long as you trust in Him, and as long as you believe in yourself, anything that you want to do, anything that you want to, anywhere you want to go, whatever you want to touch, you can. It's accessible to you, but you have to work hard towards it. You can't just think that it's going to come to you because you said that you wanted it. We don't have superpowers. Your superpower is the work that you put in, and you'll reap the benefits of the rewards of what you put in after you do it.
How can people connect with you?
I mean, I don't want to tell you about my social media because I'm a little ghetto on there. But I mean, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Threads, I'm on pretty much everything. And most of it is Erica Woods or EE Woods.
Okay. Well, Erica, I had a great time talking
Yes.
with you, learning more from you, and I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here today with me and sharing with the audience and just being who you are, your authentic self. So, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And I just want to let you all know reach out to Erica, connect with Erica, go on to she has a couple of books that are out there that can help you overcome some challenges that she went through. Connect with her and also stay connected with me on thinkhernow.com. Until next time, I want you to thank yourself because you deserve your thanks. Take care.